The Lord is sharing with me a word that it's actually happening right now in the spirit. There's something that is manifesting, and He was telling me that for whoever this message is for, I pray that you take it to God to get some confirmation, because this is a very important spiritual moment. And He is telling me that we are in the middle of a miracle. He's telling me we are in the middle of a miracle. And the first thing I perceived was this dead silence. I perceived a silence that was kind of deafening. It was something like when you have completely put all of your hope on the table. You've put all of your faith on the table. This was the last straw. This is the last thing you were counting on. Everything that you were kind of holding back on, you finally are, or you finally just did submit this to God. You finally just put this all on the table, and there is literally nothing left that you can do within your strength and your power to have hope for this situation. And this might be something that has to do with healing, or anything that has to do with other people involved. These kind of complicated situations where you think that where it's not by your own strength and not by just you and God, but it's you, God, and other people. It could be other loved ones. And so God is telling me that this situation, you have finally put it all on the altar. You have placed everything in the hands of God. And once you did that, there was a completely dead silence. This is something that if you were to tell any expert, any coach, or any kind of doctor that if there's hope, if you were to ask them, does this situation look like it is going to be positive? Does it look like there will be some kind of good outcome? Does it look like God will be able to bless this? Does it look like it's possible? Anybody with any kind of expertise background, they would definitely say no. This thing to everyone's eyes looks dead. This thing to your eyes looks dead. It looks like there's no hope. It looks like it flatlined. And so God is showing me that there has come a moment when you are now standing in the middle of a miracle. And I can literally hear the intensity of a heartbeat just getting so focused, so nervous, so consumed by this moment. And God is showing me we are in the middle of this miracle. When you decided to give this to God, you did not know how He was going to make it happen, but you knew that He had promised you something. You knew that He had given you hope. You knew that He had given you something to sustain you along this whole journey. And even if you have birthed something in the spirit, He's telling me that some people have walked hiding this baby. Some people have walked unrevealing who they are to other people. Some people have walked hiding the blessing that God has shown them because it only is within you. But God is telling me if anyone were to look at you, they were to say that you have nothing. If anyone were to look at the situation, they were to say there is no God in the situation. They were to say it's not possible. I saw them try. I saw that they really wanted this. I saw that they were excited at some point, but now it looks like there's nothing. People have given up on you. You have given up on this situation. You have been rejected. You have been abandoned. You have been walked away from. You have been scolded. You have been told there is no hope in this situation. You have been told it cannot be. And the enemy has been part of that. The enemy has constructed this lie, and he has dispersed his news to the people who would actually reveal that false news back to you. And you have listened, and you have seen it for yourself. You have touched this for yourself. You have tried everything, and everything that you have done leads you back to understanding and agreeing that there is nothing that can come out of this. And the reason you are able to come to this point of final submission is because you have tried everything. And some people, God is showing me, you did not want to try because you knew that if you would try, you could come to this point. You could come to this last point of actually saying, I put everything that I had, and God, it didn't work. Nothing worked. It did not work. These people did not return. I did not get that call back. I did not get that approval. I did not get that diagnosis turnaround. And so God was showing me that as we are in the middle of this miracle, He wants you to see yourself as though you are a patient on an operating table. And He wants you to notice that although you don't feel a thing, although you don't feel pain anymore, although you are numb, He's telling me, watch my hands. He's telling me, watch my hands. And I see this surgeon. I see a surgeon in the spirit that is so careful. This surgeon is dedicated to you. This surgeon is operating the situation right now. This surgeon has his gloves on and he is in full mode. He is doing this. And so he's saying, you are under anesthesia right now. You are under a sleep. He says, you are put to sleep. The Lord has put you to sleep. The Lord has caused this situation to be dragged for so long because He needed you to open your eyes in the middle of the operation. He needed you to open your eyes in the middle of the miracle so you can see who is actually operating on you, who is actually going to bring this life back up, who is going to resurrect the situation, who is going to actually cause this turnaround. I do see a strong confirmation of people returning. I see a strong confirmation of people returning phone calls, people making visits. There's something that the Lord is doing in the spirit right now, and He is calling, He is magnetizing this situation to come together. He's pulling it together with His force, with His spirit. There's nothing that can scientifically prove how this happened. There's no logical reason that when people reconvene, that when things happen, they will just say, I just did it. I just decided to visit you. Something told me to just do it. There's no logical explanation. The Lord has made His move. He has corrected some things. He has continued the circuits that were cut. He has actually mended them. He has caused some kind of transformation, and He is telling you, you are in the middle of a miracle. You don't feel a thing. It looks dead. It looks like it is just fragmented. It looks like there is no hope and there is a dead silence. But He is telling you it's because you are in the middle of a miracle. And when you are in the middle of a miracle, something comes out on the other side. There's a life from the Holy Spirit that is immersed. There's something that emerges from this situation. God is going to allow for that baby to cry. He is going to allow for people to see what you were hiding. He is going to allow for something that was within your heart to actually be out in the open. You will no longer have to carry it. He says this thing is going to walk on its own. This thing is going to have its own breath. This promise, this blessing, this miracle, He is saying, it is alive. He says, watch how I do it. This thing is happening. It is not because you did anything. It is because the Lord has been with you and the Lord has done it. He has put His hands on this situation. He has added His finishing touch. He has allowed you to stay patient and calm. He has allowed for you to have faith. And He said, I just needed that last bit of hope that you had. I just needed that last faith that you had within you. He said, I wanted that last drop. He said, I wanted to take it out of you because I wanted you to realize that life is within me. Hope and faith is within me. Love is within me. This manifestation is within me. So that means that when you are nothing, I can provide you everything. I will give it back to you tenfold, He is saying. I will give it back to you tenfold. This thing will have much more value than what you thought it did. It is going to be something that is transformed because you didn't realize that the things that I am doing are so amazing and so grand, and that it required you to completely give up everything. He said, somebody put everything on the table. You gave up everything. You gave up everything in your heart. You gave up everything. You gave up every hope. You gave up everything. And you said, God, if this is your will, then do it. And I'm not looking anymore because it looks like it's dead. And I thought this could work. And I thought this was going to happen. And you told me this. And you told me that. So you know what, Jesus, just take it. And you gave up everything. And in that moment of silence, when everything blacked out, God said, you are now in the middle of a miracle. Watch what happens. I pray that this blesses you. This is a strong word, and God is saying, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. God bless.